Welcome to another tutorial of the contact center of 3iMedia. In this video we like to show you the settings of a queue in detail. To do so, open your previously created queue and change to the basic settings page. Many of the configuration tiles have a help button that shows helpful information. Help texts are always surrounded with a blue border. Some tiles have additional advanced settings that can be shown or hidden as well. The queue name is defined in basic settings. In advanced settings, you can configure whether to precede the name of the caller with the queue name, queue number, or both. In the number assignment, you can assign one or more telephone numbers to the queue. To define the delivery in the queue, click on the delivery destination, which was created automatically. There are different delivery methods available, which you can select in the list. In our example, we stay with the delivery according to the longest in activity. Additional destinations can be added to the list of destination numbers. This makes it easy to set up overflows for additional groups. On the right side, you can configure the parameters for each destination number. These include settings such as delivery time, delivery group, wrap-up time, or e.g. the automatic locking of employees in the case of repeated rejection of a call. The settings in this area are very comprehensive and can therefore only be briefly explained in this video. In the advanced settings of the delivery destinations you will find additional options for call handling. You can set the call priority to determine where the call should be queued. VIP customers can thus be placed at the beginning of the queue. The destination queue determines which queue the call should actually be added to. This is for example necessary for VIP queues or multilingual queues. With call delivery to the last agent, you have the option of reconnecting callers to the employee with whom he spoke on the last call. You can also enable and configure mail notifications for different events. On the following page you configure all announcements to be played in the queue. Available announcements are all announcements from global scope and the user scope of the user hotlines. You can have the welcome message played before or after the first delivery. If you need more announcements to be played on demand, you can add them and turn them on or off accordingly. By default, a queue uses the system's music on hold. Alternatively, you can select your own music on hold for each queue, or let the system make a random selection. The queue announcements are played at regular intervals and can provide information and advertisements to the caller. Again, you can add several announcements. Each of them will be played in the respective interval. Generally we recommend to keep the announcements short, as no delivery can take place during an announcement. Callers may therefore have to wait longer than necessary in the queue. On the next page you define the opening hours for the queue. The opening hours can generally be activated or deactivated. If opening hours are deactivated, the queue is always open. With opening hours enabled, you can define for each individual day whether the queue should be open. To determine the times on the different days, drag the colored flags. There are 3 types of times that can be defined. The green flags define the fixed opening hours. During these hours, the queue is always open. The blue flags determine the dynamic opening hours. These are always before or after the fixed opening hours. During this period, the queue itself determines whether the queue is open or closed based on the logon status of the employees in the defined delivery destinations. The orange flags define the pause times. To remove the pause, pull both flags on each another. It is also possible to define opening hours for a public holiday. The configuration of holidays is explained in a separate video. Instead of dragging the markers for the opening hours, you can also use the up and down arrows next to the times on the right side. In the lower area, you define which actions are to be performed outside opening hours, during pause times or on public holidays. As an action, an announcement, an additionally defined delivery destination or another queue can be selected. Thus, for example, overflows to external call centers or queues with standby duties can be configured. When selecting an announcement, a voicemail can be recorded after this announcement. There is also the possibility of an email notification for each action. In the advanced settings, a DTMF forwarding can be activated. The system waits for the caller to press a key on the phone during the announcement and then forwards the call to a predefined destination number. On the next page, you can configure a selection menu within the queue. With this selection menu, also called DTMF menu, the callers within the queue can trigger different actions by pressing a key on their phone. The DTMF menu can be used for an initial IVR selection menu at the beginning of the queue to be connected to another queue or into different departments. Alternatively, the DTMF menu can also be used recurrently within the queue to offer the caller options like a voicemail or a callback request. The DTMF menu can generally be switched on or off. After turning the DTMF menu on, the options for each button on the right pane will become active. The announcement for the selection menu must contain all options activated on the right pane. The selection menu can be played before or after the first delivery. The welcome message is always played before the DTMF menu and must therefore not be included in the announcement. The repetition interval can be used to define the period until the selection menu is repeated. If the waiting announcement is also activated, the repetition interval refers to the time of the last waiting announcement. The waiting announcement and the selection menu are always played alternately. There are several actions available. No action activates the corresponding button, but does not take any action. This can be used to offer the option of waiting in the queue by pressing a key. The Connect action offers the possibility to connect the call to another number. This can be an external or internal number in SWIXware. For internal calls, the call can also be connected into the destination call routing. The caller can initiate a callback request via the Callback action. This callback will be displayed in the client in the callback list for processing. The Voicemail action offers the caller the opportunity to leave a voice message. The action Restrict Recording signals to the employee in the client that the caller does not want a call recording. The recording in SWIXware is not affected, as this is not technically possible. The Overflow action offers the possibility to transfer the call to another queue. By default, the welcome message in the destination queue is skipped. On the last page you have the possibility to configure overflows. By default, this option is disabled. Any number of callers can wait in the queue for any length of time. As soon as you activate one of the overflow options, you can use threshold values to define for how many callers or after which time the overflow should become active. Both values can also be combined. In the advanced options, you can also define whether the overflow should become active even if all users are logged off or busy. This was our tutorial on the basic queue settings. We'll provide more information about other options of our contact center in upcoming videos. If you're interested in further information, please visit our website 3imedia.de or contact us by email at sales@3imedia.de. Thanks for watching.